Happy Friday, everybody. Chief Meteorologist Tim Buckley with you right now. We're talking all about the return of sunshine. Yes, happy to say that. The return of sunshine, and not a moment too soon this Friday. Feeling a little different than the last couple of days had been. Now, I know a lot of people have enjoyed the clouds, enjoyed the drizzle, but just as many, if not more, we're certainly hoping for the sun to come back, and we have that right now. So what we're going to be able to talk about is more sunshine, not just for this afternoon, but also heading into the weekend, and that's going to be something of a beautiful thing. And temperatures that are still pretty comfortable for this time of year. So let's not lose sight of the fact that upper 70s to near 80 in the month of August, that's still remarkable. That's not very normal. That in itself is a big cool down. So thanks for joining us for your Weather Impact Show. We have a lot to get to with our partners in Charlotte as well in just a little bit. But here's kind of the way that the day has played out here at home in the Piedmont Triad. So take a look. This is High Point, where you look right there on Main Street. Around 8 o'clock this morning, it was still kind of damp outside. We had the overcast condition as well, but take a look at how it evolved. So by 9, 10, and 11, we started to see some sunshine. And then by the afternoon, we really had a partly cloudy sky. And you might notice, can you catch this? There's a little haziness right about here. Something we've been mentioning today, and I'll wind this back so you can see it again. Something we've been mentioning is now that wildfire smoke from Canada has drifted down thousands of miles and really made it into parts of North Carolina. So we've had a little bit of an air quality issue today, a minor one. It's not a big problem compared to what we saw, let's say, a couple of years ago when the air quality was brutally bad. Really in that code red category. We're just in a moderate range right now, which typically doesn't bother most folks. It is something to keep an eye on if you have respiratory issues. Our AQI, they call it the Air Quality Index, it had gotten up to higher levels than we'd seen over the last month. Right now, it's at about a 79 to 87. So again, it could be worse, could be better, but we're not terribly bad with that right now. And you can't smell the smoke. You just see a little haze in the air. As far as the forecast of this goes over the next couple of days, I do expect there to be lower amounts of this in the air, in the sky tomorrow. Still some haziness. That's a possibility, but not a big concern. Not a huge problem. Going into the day on Sunday, even less of one. So I think we're in pretty good shape. Something I did want to mention were those temperatures, though. Remember, the average high temperature this time of year is 88 degrees. So each and every day we're supposed to be right around 90 degrees. It just hasn't been doing that. It hasn't been doing that at all. But still, that's our warmest high temperature we've had in a couple of days. So over the last several afternoons, remember, it's basically been as cool as it possibly can be this time of year. I'll let you see this full graphic here. Normal high temperature is 88. On Monday, we were 80. Tuesday and Wednesday, we were 69. Those were both records for those dates. Thursday was 75, and for today, we were right there around 80 degrees yet again. So still about 8 degrees below average. Pretty impressive, but a little bit different than where we were. Let's take a look again at the forecast going forward. I really see us seeing nice weather for tomorrow. It's going to be a gorgeous Saturday. High pressure, which had been in control, is a little bit farther offshore, so we're not getting that steady flow of cool air down the East Coast any longer. And that low pressure that we talked about off the Carolina coast, well, it's cleared out too. So most of the state should have an easy, carefree day. The only threat of rain would be really in parts of eastern North Carolina with some summertime storms. Sunday, really good to start the day. However, once we get into the afternoon, I do want us to pay attention. Sunday, about after 4 o'clock or so, there's at least a small chance of a shower, maybe a thunderstorm. Otherwise, we're in pretty good shape through most of the weekend. Here's the forecast planner I have for tomorrow. Mid-60s to start the day, right around 80 for the afternoon. Dew points aren't that bad either. There's not a lot of humidity to go along in the air, so always important to consider when you're looking at the temperatures this time of year. Are they comfortable or are they uncomfortable? And kind of the best way to do that is to look at the dew point trends. Right now, We're not that humid. That will start to change as we get into early next week. So currently the dew points are in the low 60s. Tomorrow they'll be in the mid 60s. By Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, they'll be back in the low 70s, and even mid 70s are possible by the end of next week. So returning to humid, sticky, hot weather, that's going to happen, but it's not going to happen right away. We'll wait until probably next Wednesday to see that change for our area. So overall, things are in good shape right now. We're not terribly humid. We're pretty comfortable. I mentioned the weekend, just a closer view of your futurecast. Again, Saturday and Sunday, mostly going to be really, really nice. But I will give you a closer view. This is around 4 o'clock. So let's say you have a cookout or something, a gathering on Sunday. Where might you be concerned? Well, possibly some of our southern counties could be in line for a little bit of a shower. It probably wouldn't last long. Our forecast model does give a small chance of rain Sunday evening. So just keep that in mind. And when you're tracking at home too, it's coming from the east, moving to the west. That's the general trend. Good news in the tropics in the short term. Both of these systems we had been showing you over the last week have trended down. They're not likely to impact us at this point, and so we're in pretty good shape to stay storm-free for now. I think that might change toward the middle of the month. We might talk more about that in just a couple of minutes, but overall, the rain trend, good stuff for Saturday, good stuff for Sunday. Monday and Tuesday look to be a little bit wetter. That's our next chance to kind of return to any sort of rainy weather pattern. But in the meantime, kind of enjoy it while you can. And it's important to keep an eye on where our normal temperatures are this time of year. Today's average high is 88. So it's easy for us to heat up and get hot this time of year. It's harder to do that by September. So the average high drops to 84 September 1st. It's down to 80 by September 15th. That's typically when we start to cool down. So what we're seeing right now is unusual. It's not unprecedented. We talked about that earlier in the week. It's unusual, but not totally unprecedented writ large. So take a look at your 7-day forecast here. We'll leave it up a little bit so we have a chance to see this together. Mid 80s for Saturday and then mid 80s for Sunday. Both of those days are in pretty comfortable air. By Monday, very good chance for rain around parts of the area. That's kind of an on again, off again type of a rain forecast for us. And then we'll have just isolated pop-up thunderstorm chances Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of next week. But that's when the rain starts to come back. That's when we're going to start to get hot again, and it'll really feel hot too. It'll be hot and humid around the area. Stick around. We're coming right back with a big chat with Brad Panovich and everything Carolina weather.